know it's been a minute. I know it's been a minute. I know I was doing so well and then I just disappeared. But y'all, I'm back. What's up, y'all? My name is Joy. Thank you so much for clicking into this video. If you're new here and if you're not, welcome back. I know it's been a minute, y'all. And respectfully, like, I don't have any excuse other than I was being lazy and my hair's not done. But as you can see, my hair is still not done. I got a closet full of fitteds. There's really no excuse. So here I am. I'm ready to chat. I'm ready to be consistent. Like, I'm realizing that I really want social media to work. I want to be a paid content creator. I'm not even going to front y'all. Like, I want this to like have some monetary gain. But in order for me to do that, I have to be consistent and like I don't have no excuse. I really don't have no excuse. So this is me showing up, and this is not the first time that I've said this on this channel either. So child, I'm just gonna do what I need to do. How about that? It's literally so hot and muggy in New York today. It's just like, ugh. Anyway, y'all, I'm so happy to be back. Today we're going to be chatting about books, but I have so many cool stationery things and things like that to show as well. So this is like kind of, before we jump into the books, just giving like a little update. I am an affiliate with Atlas Stationers. So by the time y'all see this, my storefront with Atlas should be up. If you feel like I put you onto anything from Atlas and you want to buy it, I just would really ask that you would support me in this. But if not, I totally understand. But for those who don't know, Atlas Stationers is a 4th generation stationery company based in Chicago. And they literally have everything from fountain pens and inks, ballpoint pens, stickers, pencils, washies, everything you need to have the perfect journaling day you could get at Atlas. So definitely let me know if there's something that y'all want to see. I have so many pens and inks and stuff to show y'all. So we'll definitely go through that in a different video, but I definitely want to share. And y'all let me know what's been going on with y'all in the comments. Like, I don't want this to be one-sided with me yapping at y'all. Definitely let me know what y'all been up to down in the comments. But in today's video, we're going to be talking about all the books that I've read so far in 2026. And spoiler alert, it hasn't been that many. It hasn't been that many. I've read 12 books so far this year. In Q1 of last year, I read 13. The book slump has tried to like latch itself onto me, but the problem is that I've also been DNFing a lot of books. So okay, maybe not DNFing, but like giving a lot of books chances, and like if I'm not enjoying it, like really trying to push through it to see if there's something that I would enjoy later on in the book, and that's just ruining my reading experience. So if I don't like the book, I'm DNFing it. Like, that's just how it is. But I have read some bangers this year, and I'm so excited to chat about it with y'all. So if you're interested in seeing what I've read so far this year, then stay tuned. Y'all know it wouldn't be a reading video without my little Kindle pad. She has the same decor as before. I'm actually going to change it up soon because I want something like more pink because it's been a minute, but she's still looking cute as ever. So let's talk about the 12 books that I've read so far this year. Honestly, like, they've all been pretty decent. I think I may have had like 2 5-stars though, and that's really like not common for me. Like, I usually read a lot of books that I enjoy. I don't know what the heck going on this year, y'all, because even books that I thought I would enjoy, I really didn't enjoy that much. So, but let's just get into it. I'm yapping too much. Let's get into it. I did kick the year off with a 5-star banger though, and the book that was the 5-star banger is The Seven Daughters of Dupree by Nikisha Elise Williams, and this is a debut novel for her, and it did not give that at all. It was fantastic. The Seven Daughters of Dupree follows 7 generations of the Dupree women who are cursed with only having women children, and it starts during slavery up through the 2020s, and it's just so complex and dynamic. The characters got on my nerves, but I love them so much. And there's like a mystery element as well, as we learn about the first Dupree woman and the curse of slavery that fell upon this family, and like the grotesqueness and depravity of what chattel slavery in America really was. So I really enjoyed this book. It was deep, it was thought-provoking, it made me cry, it just made me feel happy to be and proud to be Black. It definitely is a book that I feel like everybody should read. It was so good, so engaging. Nikisha, she ate that. Okay, now that I'm looking at my list, I did start the year off strong because the next book that I'm going to talk about was also another 5-star banger, and it is The Poet Empress by Shin Tao. And when I tell y'all, do not be fooled by this cute little cover. Okay, this is not a romantasy. This is not a little cutesy book. This book was dark and gritty and emotional and cunning and witty, and it just completely threw me for a loop. Okay, The Poet Empress follows Wei, who is a poor rice farmer from a small village, and in this world there is a dynasty that has 2 sons that are up to become the emperor, and all of these children have these gifts. So they can fix roads, they can plant produce and things like that. They also have healing abilities. Like, their gifts differ and they get the gifts upon birth. So this book starts off with a very hard scene of Wei dealing with the effects of being impoverished. I don't want to give too much away, so I'm trying to, like, keep it general, but it follows Wei as she willingly volunteers to become a concubine to the craziest son that's on track to become the emperor. And she is so desperate to see her little brother Bao thrive and survive and get an education that she's willing to put her life on the line to see that through. And that decision just takes her on this crazy journey where she learns more about the empire, the emperor, this family, and ultimately the man that she wants to become betrothed to. It's a gritty story. It's sad. It speaks about the power of language and education and tyrancy in the world and power and how power can corrupt. It's just so good, and I definitely feel like y'all need to add this to your TBR. Next up, I read Sundown Girls by L.S. Stratton, and if you're new to this channel, I love L.S. Stratton. This is an L.S. Stratton stan account, okay? But this is her first YA novel, and to be completely honest, it was not given YA. Like, it was done so well, and I don't personally read a lot of YA because I find it to be annoying, and I don't think it's fair to judge a book when I know something I don't like. So I really don't read a lot of YA, but this book was so good that the subject matter, I think, was handled perfectly for young adult readers. And let me just say what it's about. Sundown Girls follows Naomi, who is reuniting with her family for the first time in a long time, and they go on vacation to a backwoods town, I think in South Carolina. And upon arriving, she starts to smell something weird, and she notices that something is up with this town. And lo and behold, it is a racist sundown town. And this book just follows Naomi as she tries to figure out what's been happening to some of the missing girls. There's a lot of like Black folklore mentioned here. I feel like the education of what a sundown town is was handled very well in this book. And like I said, it does not give YA. Don't get me wrong now, because Naomi was annoying. Okay, like, she definitely was a 16-year-old, and I feel like L.S. Stratton made her a perfect 16-year-old because she was definitely very smart. She was able to pick up on things, but 16-year-olds being. I was 16. I remember being 16, and I was dumb. So she definitely made some decisions that made me want to choke her. But this book was so good. I definitely think that the education behind what a sundown town is really is highlighted well in this book. So if there's some young people in your life that needs to learn about the history of America, and that's still going on in America today, I definitely think that you should put this book on their radar and your radar too. Now, y'all know this is a John Gwynne stan account. I love John Gwynne. He's one of my favorite authors. He's an auto-buy author. But I read The Shadow of the Gods, and I have to say, I have been disappointed with this series. It definitely is not hitting how I thought it would. Let's chat about it a little bit. The Shadow of the Gods follows 3 POVs. Orca, who is a former warrior who has decided that she wants to live a quiet life in the countryside with her husband and her son. Varg, who is a thrall, or aka a slave, who has just escaped from being enslaved and is now trying to find a way to avenge the death of his sister. And last but not least, we have Elvar, who is a spoiled little princess-esque who is trying to make her own battle fame and a name for herself that's not connected to her father. And this book in this series has everything that I love in fantasy books. The fight scenes, that's one thing I'll give John Gwynne, whether I like this book or not. The fight scenes that he does goes crazy. Fight scenes were incredible. The found family aspect, the storyline was also quite interesting. I just don't know what it was that wasn't really gelling for me. I don't know, like I kind of didn't like Orca at first. Okay, let me go back. One thing I will take responsibility for is that I definitely was reading this book with other books in between. So I realized that I really cannot read multiple books at a time, maybe two max, but I was not giving this book the attention it deserved. So I give it that. And so maybe that's why like it started off on the wrong foot, but I don't know, child. I just was not feeling it. I hate to say it, but I found it to be a little bit boring, and I found myself comparing it to The Faithful and the Fallen. In The Faithful and the Fallen, book one, Malice, was also a little boring, but I just felt so connected to the characters. Like, I wanted to see what happened. In this series, I just genuinely could not care. I just really could not care. So I also read the second book, The Hunger of the Gods, and I enjoyed this book a little bit more than the first one, but I still have yet to reach for the third one because I just couldn't, I can't, I don't know. I'm just not connecting with the characters, and I think that that's a big thing for me. As my reading taste and journey continues to evolve, I'm realizing that I really do need to have like some type of emotional connection to the characters, whether I like them or whether I hate them too. Like, so it's definitely on both sides of the spectrum. And with these characters, I just didn't care. I just didn't care. Now, I would say if you're starting out, you're interested in reading John Gwynn for the first time, I would start with this series because I feel like The Faithful and the Fallen and the sequel series of Blood and Bone is his stronger work. So I would start off with this just so you can get to know his writing style, the way he formats his books, because The Faithful and the Fallen, chef's kiss. I'm definitely going to be rereading that soon. But yeah, the Blood Sworn saga so far for me has. Next up, I read Keeper of Lost Children by Sadiqa Johnson, and Sadiqa Johnson is the queen of historical fiction. I absolutely love her books, and this one was no different. Keeper of Lost Children follows three POVs. Ethel, who is a military wife who's desperate to become a mother and has that maternal yearning so bad. Then we have Ozzy, a black man who enlists in the army to show that black people, specifically black men, can do just as well as their white counterparts. And last but not least, we have Sophia, who is a teenage girl born on a farm who doesn't really fit in with her family, and she's really trying to find her place in the world and discover life outside the farm. Sadiqa Johnson does a great job of taking these three POVs and bringing them to such a satisfying conclusion. And at first, like maybe the first 50% of the book, I'm just following the characters along. I'm invested in them. I don't know how they're going to connect and how all these stories come together. But as she starts to bring them together, it really just turns out to be such a beautiful story. One thing I love about Sadiqa Johnson is her ability to take facets and portions of history that are really unknown and build an entire story about that part of history to educate and enlighten and also entertain. And I just feel like she does that so well. I did not know that there were so many half Black American, half German children that were left behind in Germany after the war. I don't know why I ever thought that like people falling in love and having children during a war would ever be a possibility. Like, I don't know why I never connected the two, but when love calls, love calls. That's what Kim said.
When love calls your name, babe.
Love calls your name, babe. But yeah, this book was absolutely fantastic. I definitely did a little bit of my own digging afterwards, and that's why I love historical fiction so much, because for me, it prompts me to dig a little bit deeper and educate myself on things that I may not have had much insight on before. So yeah, this was definitely a great book, y'all. Then I read Two Kinds of Strangers by Steve Kavanaugh, and this is another Steve Kavanaugh stan account. Like, I love Steve Kavanaugh's books. This one wasn't my favorite of what I've read so far, and it is a part of the standalone world series kind of thing of that follows Eddie Flynn. And so Eddie Flynn is such a fun character, honestly. Eddie Flynn is a con man turned attorney, and he has this law firm where he really wants to help innocent people. So he usually takes on these crazy cases and tries to help his clients get off free because he does not take a case if he don't believe you. Now, this book I feel was just so ridiculous. Like, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was very fun to read, but I just felt like some of the stuff that the characters was doing was just so ridiculous. Especially being a New York City native, like, and seeing like some of the things that they was doing in New York because it takes place in New York. I'm like, y'all doing too much. It was fun though. Like, so if you are looking for a quick thriller, and I will say, the twist at the end definitely threw me for a loop. The twist was very, very good. So if you're looking for something that's quick and fun with a good twist, I definitely would add Two Kinds of Stranger to your list. And honestly, the whole Eddie Flynn series that I've read thus far has been really good. So definitely check out my guy Steve Kavanaugh. Now, this next book, I really wanted to love, y'all. I wanted to love it so bad. And it is The Republic of Memory by Mahmoud El Sayed. I saw Saga Press post this book on their stories, and I remember that I had the arc in my email. So I was like, let me just check it out and see what the tea is. And I started reading it randomly. When I tell y'all, I love this book at first so much. Like, the storyline, the characters, the world building was so well done. Like, I really felt that I was aboard the Safina, which is the ship, the generation ship that the story takes place on. But after a while, I was like, what is the plot? So The Republic of Memory, I think, is about, it's this generational ship where they are leaving Earth because Earth is just in shambles, and they're going towards a new world. And I think this is going to be a duology or a trilogy, but on the Safina, people are not segregated because of race or class or gender or anything like that. It's really based around languages and the power of linguistics and how language can be a barrier to different socioeconomic groups. And so I thought that that was very, very interesting. The concept of this book definitely sounds like things that I would be interested in, but it was just some stuff that just did not work for me. One of the things being language, oddly enough. And there are some chapters where they have this like slang that they're speaking, and it's just like a mix of different actual languages and different slang terminologies, and it was very hard to follow for me. And so it took me out of the story a few times. And then, like I said earlier, like, I'm reading and I'm like, where is the plot? Like, where is this book going? I really don't understand. And so the ending made me intrigued enough that I want to continue and read the next book. But I don't know, y'all, this one kind of fell flat for me after such a strong start. But I would say, like, if you're into sci-fi and language and linguistics, like, you definitely should check this out. But I don't know, it was definitely a no for me. And then, y'all, I started Empire of Silence, and I've had this book for like 2 years at this point, sitting on my stack, and just have seen so many videos about the Sun Eater series. And I was like, you know what, I got the audio book through Libby. I was like, let me finally just dive into this book. Now, I will say that I've seen a lot of reviews about the Sun Eater series, and a lot of people say that Empire of Silence is the slowest one. It reads more like a prequel. It's not a lot going on. So I really went in with low expectations, but I absolutely love this book. I just absolutely ate this book up, okay? So, like I mentioned, Empire of Silence is the first book in the Sun Eater series, which is a 7 book long series, and it follows Hadrian Marlowe, who is a noble who turns into this warrior who ends up blowing up a world that kills a billion people. Now, that's not a spoiler. It is something that's said in the synopsis of book one. It's mentioned right off the back in book one. And I think that's something that I really liked about the structure of this book, is because, as y'all can see, I like to know things fast. I like a fast paced book. I'm not going to lie. And so I think that because this book is a bit slower, having that end goal in sight, like, he becomes what and he's this way now, definitely intrigued me, and it kept me like interested in the story. I absolutely love Hadrian Marlowe. I find him to be so dramatic and just like so extra. And maybe that's because I'm a little dramatic and extra myself, but like, I really loved him as a character, and it's in first person. So if you don't like Hadrian, you might not like this series. And I felt like the sci-fi elements weren't like really overwhelming. I'm still like dipping my toe into sci-fi, if I'm being honest. So I definitely felt like it was accessible. It is a long book. I highly suggest doing the audiobook because the audiobook is so well done. The narrator is incredible. But I really love the storyline of seeing Hadrian like face all of these challenges, and he's so compassionate and a little bit naive. So I'm really interested to see how his character develops over the next 7 books. At the time of making this video, I'm on book 2, which is Howling Dark, and I'm about 30% in, and I'm eating it up, child. I'm eating it up. So that being said, then I read the novella that comes after The Empire of Silence, which is called The Lesser Devil. So it's book 1.5. And this book goes on an adventure with Crispin, who is Hadrian's younger brother. And just seeing his development in a novella, like this book is so short, but seeing the character development in him was so good. Like this little novella, it didn't feel like it was relevant to the story, and maybe it'll make sense down the line as I get deeper into the books. But I was still engaged. I read it in like one day. I actually really started to like Crispin as a character, so I definitely will continue to read the novellas as I go along. But yeah, these two, y'all, they shocked me, so I definitely think y'all should check them out. Then I had to jump back into my historical fiction bag, and I read A Harlem Wedding by Tiffany L. Warren, and this story follows Yolande Du Bois, who was the only living heir of the infamous W.E.B. Du Bois. And when I tell y'all, I have yet to read a book about my boy, Dr. Du Bois, where he was not portrayed as such a jerk. And in this story, like Yolande is trying to come into her own with love and be with someone that she loves versus someone who her father considers the talented 10th and push Black people forward. So just seeing that dynamic between the two of them was really interesting. And then coincidentally, recently I watched a documentary on PBS about W.E.B. Du Bois and his life in its entirety. And it really shed some light on why he was the way he was. So I don't know, I've been reading so many like historical fictions with him as either the center or a byproduct of the women in his life. And after watching that documentary, I'm so intrigued about his life because he was absolutely brilliant. And I think his brilliance became the detriment of his family life. And so the dichotomy of it all is so interesting to me. But A Harlem Wedding was so good. I did not know about Yolande's life and like the things that she had to sacrifice in order to make her father happy and proud. And it just was so interesting to see her point of view. Granted, it's fiction, we don't know like the little ins and outs of everything. And I think that Tiffany Warren did that really well. It felt like I was reading like diary entries of Yolande. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it too. But dang, my girl was going through it. She was going through it. All the men in that book pissed me off. Like just every single one of them. But I definitely suggest reading this because it also takes place during the Harlem Renaissance. And that's another time of history that I'm so intrigued in because y'all know I'm from the towns, from Harlem. So I love to read more about the history like of the Harlem Renaissance and just having that knowledge. So yeah, this was a really good book. I think y'all should check it out. And last but not least, we have A Dance of Burning Blades by M.H. Allende. And this is the second book in the Invoker trilogy. And I absolutely ate this book up, y'all. I absolutely love this book so much. It hasn't come out yet. By the time y'all see this video, it still is not released yet. It releases on August 11th of this year. And when I tell y'all, they say that second books in a series, especially like a trilogy or a quartet, are usually slow and bogged down with information and not really like as enjoyable. But when I tell y'all, this book was like, hold my drink. Let me show y'all how it's done. That's exactly what A Dance of Burning Blaze did. This book picks up where A Song of Legends Lost left off at, and there is multiple POVs in this book, and I was invested in every single one. Okay, like I just found the characters to be so engaging, so interesting to follow. The world building was incredible in this book. There were some new sci-fi elements that took me by surprise, but that were so well done. The lore of the Nine Lands was also added upon and expanded as well. And it just was such a good book. Like, and it's chunky. It's a chunky book. And I was engaged from page 1 to page 600 and something. Yeah. It's a big book, but I definitely feel like more people should be reading this series. It's such a perfect blend, especially book 2, was such a perfect blend of character development, found family, conflict, mystery elements. It just was so many moving parts, but it was done so well. I just can see the improvement from book one's writing to book two. Like, you can see M.A. Chayende growing as an author, and she just really put her foot in this book, y'all. Like, it was so good. I highly suggest checking out this series. So yeah, y'all, that's all the books that I've read so far this year, and I don't know, like, I'm having a slow reading year, but I am reading like some really good books. But I think the next half of the year I probably will read more, because now I have the momentum of like reading good book after good book. I'm reading what I want to read. Like, I'm not trying to keep any lists. I'm literally just going with the flow, y'all. But let me know in the comments what you've been reading so far this year and what your favorite read has been so far this year. I can't wait to see y'all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, y'all know what to do. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Happy reading. Bye.